Hi, everybody, and welcome to the first one-on-one that I've had a chance to do, and the first of many, with new Panthers head men's basketball coach Bart Lundy. Coach, welcome to Milwaukee. Welcome to the
Scott.
Black and Gold Network. We're sitting here just a few minutes following your introductory press conference. Take us through the day, or the last few days, and the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions for you and for your family.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind. It's been good. We're trying to, obviously take care of our family and sell a house and find a place here and make sure everybody's, moving in the right direction with this decision. For the program, we have trying to hire staff, trying to recruit players, trying to figure out what we've got coming back and the pieces that are here and what needs to be added to that. I'm eager to meet the players and to roll our sleeves up and see them on the court, start to set our standards, and get them going. So there's a lot, and then obviously the plane flights back and forth, and my wife is in and she'll fly out tomorrow morning. I'll be here for another day, and then we'll fly to the Final Four and have some clinics there, and then we're back really for good next Tuesday.
Tell me about your family, because your wife, Suzanne, has ties to this area, very close to this campus.
Yes.
And anytime a coach makes a move, yes, you are up here on the podium, but it's the family behind the scenes that is going through these changes as well.
Yeah, and that's that familiarity of the area, Shorewood. She lived in Shorewood for 9 years, and knowing the schools, knowing the community, knowing the university. Obviously I was here at Marquette, but it's been a long time. But it made the decision, much easier. There's been a lot of opportunities that have crossed our paths with our family, and we've decided to stay put at Queens. And I had, an amazing job, worked for amazing people, and they just couldn't have been better. So knowing what we were stepping into really helped us to pull the trigger on this.
What went into that decision-making process? Because as you talked about in your comments to the assembled media and fans here today, it certainly wasn't an easy decision. A great deal of success at Queens, and yet, what flipped it for you? What cinched it for you?
It really was, and I sincerely mean this. The swing vote was the city, the university, and where the tradition has been, and the possibility of getting that back. The city, as far as a population that will get behind a winner like nowhere else I've ever been, and we were going Division I at Queens. We were. The money wasn't a factor. That they were offering me more years than I deserved, but it was the possibility here of what it could be, and the city of Milwaukee as well, that really was the swaying vote for our family.
You have, as you just alluded to, you have seen this city when it is at its zenith of basketball fandom, and then specifically here at Milwaukee. You've coached, correct me if I'm wrong, been on a coaching staff for one game at Panther Arena. Can you tell us about that experience some time ago, and why maybe that is still very fresh in your memory on a day like this?
Yeah, it was. We played. I could get this wrong, but I think we played all 3 years that I was at Marquette. Maybe it was 2, but we played one of those games. Whether how the deal came out, but we played one of those games in then U.S. Cellular Arena. And my only memory of playing against the Panthers on the Panthers home floor is that it was full, it was rocking, it was a good back and forth game, and at the time I'm going, what in the heck are we doing here? Why are we doing this?
Should be across the street.
Yes. But my impression, and the only thing I know is that vision of folks in the stands and it being loud and feeling like they're on top of you, and it's what we want to get back.
Let's go back because the person that you are, the coach that you are, has been formed through trials and tribulations, through success and failures, as we all are as people. Can you walk us through some of those maybe more challenging times, but here now you're enjoying the rewards of going through that era?
Yeah, absolutely. And I, talked about it in the press conference. I was 31 years old, second youngest Division I coach in the country at High Point University. After the first year, I think we had a 15-game swing to the plus. It was the Division I National Rookie Coach of the Year. We went on to win 20 games. We did have a team in our league, Winthrop with Greg Marshall, that we had trouble getting over the hump on that. But going into my 6th year there, I thought I was on top of the world. Went through a divorce, had a new AD, losing season, and got fired. And, talk about a humbling experience. I don't tell many people this, but I came to Milwaukee. I didn't really have a key. Imagine that. You're a grown man and you have a key to something. Well, they were going to give me a car and they put me in a place and didn't have the place yet. And, I turned the car back into High Point. And imagine not having a key in your pocket. Not that I wasn't, didn't have good things ahead. And I told people, and my favorite saying is, when you go up, you better plant flowers, because you come down, you're going to have to pick them. But that how you deal with that type of adversity is whether you're going to be successful or not. It's the last thing I told my team at Queens. You're going to have adversity, you're going to have change in your life. The most successful people, they're not the people that work the hardest. They're not the smartest people. Many times, they're the people that deal with change and adversity the best. And, I look back and I got better out of that experience.
So if I could transport you back to talk to that Bart Lundy, maybe in one of the lower moments during that transitional time, what would this Bart Lundy tell that Bart Lundy in that moment?
This too shall pass. This too shall pass. Keep moving forward. Keep your chin up. When we face adversity in life, a lot of times, you think that you're unique in that. It's unique to you, but you're not unique in this universe. In this world, going through whatever you're going through. Somebody's going through it at the same exact time, and you just got to keep moving. And that led me to meet my wife Suzanne. We have a blended family. We have Liam now, and he's a much better dancer than his dad. And so
stay tuned for that, by the way.
Yeah.
We'll watch that unfold as the season goes on, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's my surrogate. But it was a learning and growth experience for me.
So you accept the Milwaukee position. Who was the first person you told? Let me take your wife and your son. Let's take the family out of the equation. Other than family, who was the first person you called or told when you decided to take this position?
Yeah, that's, I won't count within that family. I should count it, but I did call my mother. My dad passed a few years ago, and, this is hard for her. She was 2 hours away. Now she's, 22 hours away, or however far we are. It's not that much. But I called her. I called a lot of people. I called my staff at Queens. I called that day. That day was rough. That day was rough. It's when you take a new job, you are leaving a family. There, my players, my athletic director, who was nothing good to me, the folks at Queens, and then you're picking up a new family.
Right.
So there were a lot. I can't go to one phone call, but there were a lot of phone calls.
Well, you're right. I mean, it's a time where you have to start new relationships. And to that point, how have you, at this stage anyway, reached out to the players still on the active roster? And can you talk us through in this day and age of the transfer portal and player mobility, which is different than it was just a couple of short years ago. How have you tried to begin tackling that, that work?
Yeah, and that's a lot. We did a Zoom with the team, the day after. Media folks are amazing. We were going to hold it until Monday, hired on Friday. That didn't last for about 8 hours, so had to have a meeting with the current players, and then we set up a meeting with the team here. And so kind of explained how things were going to work to them, and then have called them all individually. We had some players that were already in the portal, and I think some of those guys will come back, some of those guys will move on, and it'll fall as it should. And but I've told each and every one of them they have a home here, where it'll always be open doors. But there are some folks that when you have a situation that wasn't successful, that you need a fresh start. And the players that are coming back have been nothing but eager and enthusiastic and jacked up to get to work. And we've gone trying to develop a relationship with each one. A lot of times these guys are texting. We've done the phone calls, but they sure do like to text. So a lot of text back and forth.
Is the transfer portal, is the player mobility that that student athletes have, across the country at this point in time, is that a good thing, in your opinion, right now?
Well, I don't really look at it as a good or a bad thing. I look at it, is it right or is it wrong? And in my opinion, and this may be unpopular, but you have a job, and if you feel that you can take another job. I took a job and left a team that didn't have a senior on it, and they were pretty mad at me, but I have that ability. Why would we not give that ability to a student athlete? And I understand there are factors where we're giving them a scholarship, but if they're doing right and they're going to class and they're working hard, I would never try to keep someone from having an opportunity if they wanted to change. And hopefully we have a situation here where they don't ever want to leave, but I don't fool myself that we won't have that.
To that point, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, as you've reached out to players that were on last year's roster and at this point, at least as of this taping, are still on the team's roster. If you reached out to Patrick Baldwin Jr., obviously he's deciding various things in his life, but if you had a chance to have a conversation with PBJ.
Yeah, well, we've, like most of them, we've back and forth with messaging. And he is, first of all, he reached out first, which I thought showed incredible character. And to be a high-profile player, and I've been around a lot of high-profile players, and to be humble enough to reach out to the coach that just took over the program where your father was. To me, that showed what a first-class kid, young man that he is. And I don't know him very well, but we've gone back and forth. I told him the door's open here. He has indicated that he has some really positive feedback from the mock drafts and from scouts, and I basically told him that's awesome. Really happy for him. I want him and every other player in this program to reach their goals and dreams, and I just expressed to him that he's got a home here, whether he came back and is on our roster or if he's across the street with the Bucks, he's still got a home here. And I want all the folks who have stepped foot in this program to feel that way.
As you build your program and you build your roster this year and in years to come, what is your recruiting philosophy, considering the junior college ranks, the transfer portal D1, players that are available, the traditional, high school kids too, all these different ways of building a roster now? What will drive you? What philosophies, what mindset will guide you as you try to work through, I guess, all those different pools of players, as it were.
Yeah, I mean there are a lot of decisions to be made. I think when you look at a roster, first thing you look at is balance. You know, you want to balance your classes. You want to balance, you know, your you don't want all the same guy. You want different guys that have different skill sets and how they fit into your program. So balance is the first word that comes to mind. You know, if you've got a kid who is, you know, has some challenges academically and you got to really support that student athlete, well, you probably need some over here that you know, are pretty self-sufficient. So when I think about a roster, I think balance. You know, we're going to go after specific basketball traits, obviously, skill set and length and athleticism, all the things that any coach would say. What has been successful for me has been to go after guys that come from winning programs. And I've generally built it with high school kids. You know, I love to see guys that have been in state championships. You know, I think when you get a taste of winning, you know, you want that again, and you've seen what it looks like. And I think we had my last team at Queens, we had 8 guys that had won state championships in their high school career. So, you know, I think that you look for winners, you look for character. You can win games with talented players, but you win championships with guys that are really bought in and high character and you are willing to sacrifice. You know, we want guys that probably should be starters, but hey, I got to come off the bench, but I'm okay with that because you know I'm involved with something that's bigger than just myself, and they see that, you know, winning will get everybody what they want. So there's a lot of factors in there, but those are the main things.
What about when it comes to scheduling? At the mid-major level, it can always be difficult. The big boys are more than happy to welcome you to their place.
Sure.
Getting them to reciprocate can be difficult. And then striking that balance with a non-conference schedule as well, I know, is always important. What will guide you in schedule-making decisions?
Well, there's a few different things, and I don't want to give away all the secrets because, but I'll say what I don't want to do. I don't want to schedule a bad named team that's really good. I want teams that you know, we're gonna, you know, we're gonna look at the numbers and everything. Basketball is math, and you've got to look at, okay, what's the weight of your schedule versus the weight of your roster. You know, we've got some games scheduled this year, so you know, I don't know where our roster is. So maybe you need to be fairly conservative. As we get better, you know, you can start to expand that, but also want to get I want to fill that arena up, and so we need to get opponents that people want to see, and you know, that's where we'll go further out on a limb and bring opponents that will draw.
Analytics in basketball. It's maybe not as far along as it is in other sports like baseball, for example, but what role do the numbers and the data, what role does all that play in your philosophy and how you scheme and how you coach?
I would say it's front and center. 1A, 1B, and I would say I haven't always been there. I think if you ask Buzz, you know, what kind of coach I was when I got to Marquette, I was a field guy. You know, I was a basketball junkie and gym rat, and you know, thought I could watch and see what you know, what would play out on the court. Dealing with working for Buzz, Buzz he saw the game in a different lens than I did, which was really good for me. So when I went to him with, you know, a game plan, how to beat Connecticut, I had to shape it in a form that he would understand and that he would buy into. So usually that was written word. You know, he's not a guy that wants to, you know, to hear it verbally. He wants it written, and he wants to know the numbers. And so that experience for me kind of led me down the road to where I changed some philosophies. I got to Queens. After my first couple of years, we didn't make enough threes. I changed my philosophies again, and really have gotten so far into the analytics now that that it is a driving force.
Less than a minute left, Coach. There are going to be fans that watch this. There are going to be players, past and present, that watch this. What's the message you would like to leave the folks who are watching this video right here, if this is the first time maybe they're seeing and hearing from you?
Right. I would want them to know that we want them here. We're going to put a product on the floor that you're going to love to see. We are going to be exciting to watch, both offensively and defensively. We're going to have good dudes in our program that you're going to like to cheer for. And I know that this university and the city will come out for a winner. And we want to make you proud, and we're going to bring a winner. So give us a chance. Come out, buy a season ticket, or come to some games, then buy your season ticket when you see that we're going to be pretty good.
Bart Lundy, welcome to Milwaukee.
Thank you, Scott.
Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Much more to come in the weeks and months as we get ready for tip-off. It'll be here before you know it, too.
It will be.
See you, everybody.